So AP Energy class, extra credit. Spirit has been putting forth, there's a really great galactic teacher who explains fascism. The different kinds of fascism, and he does it in an amazing way, truthfully, factually, calmly. There's no like ego involved, there's no catty remarks, there's no nothing. All it is like a galactic professor who's pulled down an encyclopedia and explained what fascism is. And that's like in delivering information. They didn't pull down an encyclopedia. This person did a lot of work and has a lot of things that back up what they're saying. It's an excellent, excellent lesson for everyone on what is fascism. We hear that word fascist a lot. So a quick short, I will put his lesson in the comment section here of this video. If you have the time to watch it, you should watch it. And he goes down the different avenues of different kinds of fascism. So a quick shortcut, maybe cliff note way to say is fascism is when you've convinced the people that their blood and their country of origin are enmeshed. So the blood that runs through them and their country of origin are enmeshed. And then they can manipulate the people through that mind fucker. And they do that through propaganda. So, and propaganda means information that we're going to give you, and it's going to subliminally fuck with your head to get you to believe a false reality. And so, different ways that has been done. So, I'm just going to put my headphones on now so I don't have to hear the music. So, you hear a lot of times now people saying Donald Trump is a fascist. Now, why would they say that? A good example is another video, which I will also link, an honest review of the Trump-endorsed Bible. So if you look at the Trump-endorsed Bible, it's very clear that the Trump administration is trying to enmesh like a far-right evangelical Christian belief or morals, a far-right Christian view into the United States of America. So we all have to remember the United States of America is founded off of freedom of religion. So freedom of religion means my neighbor can be whatever religion he wants to be. I can be whatever religion I want to be. And the government can't come after me for it. I can be a mainstream religion. I can be a freaky-deaky cult religion. I can be whatever it is. And the government can't say no to me. Freedom of religion also has another meaning. That's one way. Freedom of religion is a two-way street. That's just one way. We can all be whatever religion we want to be or not be. The other way is where the of means from. Freedom of religion. Freedom from religion. Freedom of religion. For example, my neighbor can be whatever religion he wants to be. But I have freedom from religion, freedom of religion, and I don't have to live my life by my neighbor's religious rules. So that's where it's getting really sticky with the president trying to bring religion into politics on a country that was founded on religion being separate. We all have freedom of religion. And so a good example of fascist propaganda is the Trump-endorsed Bible. If you look at it, at the end of the Bible, it has the Pledge of Allegiance in it. It has a singer's song lyrics, God Bless the USA, and his signature. It has the 10 Commandments in it. It has, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America in the Holy Bible that is owned by the whole world. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, that is very tacky in the Holy Bible. It has no business being in the Bible. So that's an example of trying to enmesh this Christian belief with the being a United States citizen. Only the real citizens are this way, and you are enmeshed by the blood of your soul, the blood that's pumping through you, and the identity of your country. That is fascism. And that Bible is an example of propaganda. All that stuff at the end has no business being in the Holy Bible. But they have convinced themselves and their followers that they are the bloated bobbleheads of moral righteousness, that they are going to take back the country. If you watch that documentary on fascism, if you go back in the history, and we learn from history. So I'm not just making this up. This is in the history books. The first kind of step is to convince the people that things are not great. And if that's the actual term, the words, things are not great. Make America great again. That's a fascist thing taken by the handbook of the fascists of the past. So that's why people are calling Donald Trump a fascist, because what he's doing is fascism. So if you want to learn more about it, whether you agree with it or not, knowledge is the key to freedom. It never hurts to learn. And so there's this wonderful galactic professor who has zero agenda, just explaining history like a college level course to tell everybody and explain to everybody what fascism means and what it has meant in the past, and the kind of playbooks they did for it, for the big mind fuck. And the end result is to enmesh the citizen with the feeling that the blood that courses through them comes from the land, and the land belongs to them. Yeah, Christians don't own the United States. No religion owns the United States. We have freedom of religion. That's why the social experiment way back then, no offense Native American people, that's why the social experiment called the United States happened. They wanted to get away from religious oppression. That's why we have freedom of religion here in the United States of America. That's why people are freaking the fuck out. That's why nobody went to Donald Trump's parade. That's why people said no kings. That's why people are saying no fascism. People are smarter and have learned from history these playbook plays that are seriously happening right now. So I'll put those videos down in the comment section. Here's a quick lesson. Okay, so let's call out the hypocrites. Let's call out the hypocrites. Now, there is a wonderful documentary called The Satanic Temple's Protest for First Amendment Rights. They're another religion. Yep. So how rules apply for some but not for others? On a country where no religion owns the United States. So in the United States, we have a government building. I believe is it in Alabama? Alabama might mean something. That has the 10 Commandments on it. And upon watching back, I realized I said it has the 10 Commandments in it. I'm like, 10 Commandments? Supposed to be Bill, right? Yeah. But the 10 Commandments led me to thinking this, and then Spirit said, record this. So I think it's in Alabama. On our government lawn of the United States of America in a state called Alabama, where we have freedom of everyone's religion and freedom to be whatever religion we want to be, there is a statue of the 10 Commandments. And there are people who say, that's not our fucking religion. Not just a Satanist, just anybody, who the 10 Commandments isn't part of their club. We're going to call religion now a club. Isn't part of their club. And their statue that they've plopped down on the government lawn, which our taxes do the upkeep for, our taxes pay to weed whack all around there and stuff, say we don't want your club monument on the ground that we all own collectively. You can take that monument, put it on your fucking front yard of your church, your house, wherever. Yeah, peace with you, go with God. But it doesn't belong on the government front yard. We have freedom of religion. And so that monument, people have run it over. They just re-erect it. They've infiltrated the upper courts with the good old boys. And so Lucian Greaves with the Satanic Temple says, okay, well, now let's keep in mind there are so many charlatan Christians who are turning their religion into billion-dollar businesses, all in the name of Jesus Christ, literally using the Lord's name in vain for their own vanity. Using the Lord's name in vain you can't say God damn it. Using the Lord's name in vain means don't use Jesus Christ's name for your own fucking vanity. So Lucian Greaves, who has a Satanic Temple, says, oh, we have a statue. Yeah, no, you don't need to get rid of your statue that's on the government yard that we all own. We have a statue too. It's a Baphomet. We're going to get a permit and we're going to come and display Baphomet right by your statue. Fair is fair, right? Fair is fair in the United States of America. We too are a religion. Our club wants to bring our statue. Because your club got to have the statue there and we're all paying for the upkeep of it. So here comes our statue. Just for a limited amount of time. Watch these full-blown hypocrites freak the fuck out. Just watch them freak out, these fake-ass Christians. Freak the fuck out. Here comes Satan. Satan, Lucifer, Satan. We all know he tries to fool you. Yeah, how is Lucian Greaves rolling in on a flatbed with Baphomet, with a permit, fooling you? Yeah, the Antichrist is this anti-Christ-like behavior of all these people taking the Lord's name in vain for their own giant fucking supply grabs. The Antichrist. Jesus flips the table Solution comes in with Baphomet. And Baphomet, if you want to study Baphomet, you can start studying Knights Templar. Baphomet was a big player in their beliefs. If you do some just basic research on Baphomet, Baphomet stands for perfect social order. Think about it. All Baphomet has to do is show up, and the hypocrites completely unzip themselves, throw tantrums, start doing giant ego grabs, ego sucks. I'm earning brownie points with God. No, we can be here, but you can't. No. Like all these people who believe their own hype, that their bloated bobblehead of moral righteousness is more important. No, we're just gonna have a mass right here, Dave Assumption. Bring the statue of Mary down. No, we can be here. Baphomet, no. Then you hear her talk to the politician, the good old boy. This is probably displays his 10 Commandments on the government yard that all of us, collectively pay for the upkeep of, even though it's not our collective club. He sits there and he says to her, not in these words, but this is what he says. It will be a cold day in hell when everyone has equal rights. That's what he says. But the way he says it is, it will be a cold day in hell when we are forced to put an offensive statue on the front yard of the government building, with no ability to self-reflect that his club's 10 Commandments is the exact same fucking thing. And not everybody wants to pay for the upkeep of his club's monument that has no business being there. So when Baphomet shows up, called perfect social order, otherwise known as the truth, when the truth shows up, you watch these hypocrites have full-blown tantrums, giant supply grabs, people full-on inserting their own ego dick, sucking it off, thinking they're winning brownie points with God, just regurgitating doctrine they've been brainwashed to believe. And they all know there's like some sort of big trick that Satan does. But they're either too dumb or they haven't really stopped and thought about it, that it's already tricked them. It's these fake ass Christians and their egos, this narcissism. This our club is the best club, so we're here. Fuck you, you can't be here. No, you can't be here. Jesus has officially flipped the table. Said, stop taking my name in vain. So Spirit wants us to watch all these documentaries. I'll end it with that one. The Satanic Temple's protest for First Amendment rights. Watch what happens when Baphomet shows up with a permit, and these people, half of them have no idea what they're even protesting. How buffoony they seem. How totally brainwashed they are. And every one of them thinks they're earning brownie points with God to get to heaven. And there's so much supply grab, and supply is another word for attention, but supply is a better word. They need that supply. It's like gasoline. Yeah, and I'll put one more information by a really smart woman. Her name is Jill. She has an excellent explanation of supply, narcissistic supply. Not all supply is created equal. That's when you get triangulation going on. And supply means attention. But she explains it in the form of gasoline. So there's some really interesting things if you want to learn about it. And it's called the truth. Yeah, I can't ignore the insult to intelligence with the hypocrisy. It's true. So the final thing I'll put on this is, if you feel like you may have outgrown your religion, you may have had a collapse of false reality, you may have said, I can't ignore this insult to intelligence anymore. If you're riddled with anxiety, anything like that, it can be very terrifying. Very terrifying. When you're going through an awakening, it feels like Spirit is stripping everything away from you. And just know this happens to other people. And I do have a whole talk about if you said, oh my God, have I outgrown my religion? You could feel lost. And don't fear, you don't have to give up your religion. That's not what that talk is about. So if that resonates, I'll also put that link. And these are all you can find in the comment section here of this video. Alright, there it is.